What helps me with my classes? Quizlet, Chegg, Course Hero. Just kidding, but I'm not kidding. Kidding. Not kidding. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan, and if you're new here, hello, hi, welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Today I'm going to be filming a college Q&A with questions that y'all asked me on my Instagram. Let's go. So I should probably start off with saying where I go to college. So I go to San Diego State University, and it is in San Diego in California. Okay, I am sitting here editing this video and I realized that was literally the worst explanation I could have ever given. I am going to be a junior this upcoming fall at San Diego State University. I am a marketing major with a Spanish minor, interdisciplinary studies minor, and digital and social media minor. So those are my three minors, and that's my major, and that's where I go to school. Someone asked what the hardest part was about transitioning from living on the East Coast to going to school on the West Coast. I personally didn't really have a hard time transitioning. I think that I was comfortable with the idea of going to school 2,400 miles away from home, and I was really open to like meeting new people and putting myself out there and being exposed to like a different quote-unquote culture. There are some subtle differences between like San Diego and New Jersey. Like people are definitely more chill, more relaxed, more like take life as it comes compared to East Coast, where it's like you gotta like catch the train at 12, you have to walk. I just personally took it as people being nicer, and so that I think was the biggest difference for me. It was just like the people between the East Coast and the West Coast. In regards to everything else, I think the transition was super duper normal, and it was as if I was just going to a school that was like 10 minutes away from me. And my biggest tip in regards to that, like making a transition to college, I think it's just important to go into college with an open mind. Just be open to experiencing new things and meeting new people. And if you go in with like an open, optimistic mindset, I think the situation will work out best for you. Since I go to school 2,400 miles away from home, somebody asked how often do I come home. My freshman year, I came home for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then spring break, I stayed out there in Palm Springs, so I didn't come home at all the spring semester, and so I only came home twice my freshman year. My sophomore year, I didn't go home for Thanksgiving, and I only went home for Christmas, but once it hit like October, I went through this weird funk where I was like, I need to go home for like a weekend. I want to go home and like see my friends. I go to other schools and just see my mom and get my Wii. And so with that being said, I flew home. It was literally a Sunday I made the decision. I was like, I want to come home, and then Monday I was on a flight home to New Jersey. So I flew home twice in the fall semester, and then obviously spring did not go as planned, but I wouldn't have come home in the spring either, just because spring break I was going to go to Mexico. Most people do go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas if you live on the East Coast. I really didn't know anyone that stayed, and so that's why I went home as well. Like I'd be down to staying in San Diego if other people did, but it was just like everyone kind of just went home, so I was like, okay, I should go home too. I missed my dog. Someone asked what my favorite part was about living in the dorms. I love dorm life. I've said this before. It was like the best experience of my life. It's where I made my best friends and had some of my like most memorable freshman memories. For me, my favorite part about dorm life that I really missed sophomore year was going to parties and then coming back and staying in like your hangout area on your floor until like 5 in the morning with every kid on your floor, just like causing ruckus, and everyone's just so goofy, having so much fun. I loved that so much, like just going out and then knowing that when you go home, like the night's not over, you're still gonna have like your best friends to hang out with. So I loved it, and I just loved that it gave you the opportunity to like create new friendships and make like some of your best friends. Someone asked how hard classes are at San Diego State University. It's really just dependent on the classes that you take and the professors that you have, and obviously some majors are going to be a lot harder for some people than others, and just some classes are going to be harder than people, so it's all an individualized experience. You can be taking the same exact class as your best friend and you think it's so easy and your friend's struggling, and vice versa. Every college is hard no matter what college you go to, depending on the classes you take and the teachers you have. You can make college as easy as you want or as hard as you want of an experience. So that's my answer to that. Somebody asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard do I find college so far? I personally think that high school is harder than college. I had a really hard high school, I guess. It was just very competitive, very academically driven. And so for me, I haven't found college to be that hard. I think it's like my whole mindset's work smarter, not harder. I take a lot of my hard classes in the summer and the winter, so that during the school year I'm kind of just taking my easier ones. So like if there's a class like accounting or finance that I don't want to take during the school year because I know I'm not good at it and it's not what I'm passionate about, I just push it to the summer or winter. So then during the school year I'm only taking classes that like I find easy or I'm interested in. But I would say college so far is like a 3 out of 10. There's moments and instances where it's hard and stressful, of course, because you're just in college, but for the most part I'm not like sitting in like a deep hole being like, oh my god, I'm so stressed. There's a lot of questions kind of going off of this one, but it's just in regards to how do you make friends in college? Is it hard to make friends in college? My answer to that is no, as long as you're open to the idea and put yourself out there. I think within like the first few weeks of college, it is so important that you go out there, you make friends, you go out at nighttime if your college like has a night scene like that. You're outside of your bedroom making friends, you're walking around campus, you're talking to kids in your classes. You just have to put yourself out there, because friends are gonna just come to you if you sit back and do nothing and don't contribute. And if you are a more shy or reserved person, like there's other people like that in college too, and you're just gonna find your clique of people no matter what. I think like whatever energy you bring out into the world will give back to you. It isn't that hard, especially if you live in a dorm like I know I did. That was very social. It really like cultivated an environment of like friendship and like creating new relationships, and it just made it 10 times easier. Another question is if SDSU students are competitive. In my personal opinion, I don't think so, but that also may just be the group of people that I surround myself with. I think everyone's really friendly and like cheering each other on. Like you always see people post like people's accomplishments in their Instagram stories, being like, vote for them, look at them go, like yes, look at like everything they're doing, just basically like a big hoorah to them. Everyone's just really supportive and proud of everyone and what they're doing, and I think especially if you find the right group of friends, like your friends will be your biggest hype people in college. You shouldn't be surrounding yourself with people that are like, I don't care about what you like your accomplishments are and what you're doing, like it's all about me. I think at San Diego State University there's definitely a more collaborative team effort rather than an individual like I don't care how you do, it's all about me mindset. Another question was, how often do students get to go off campus and do little trips? You literally every single day could go off campus and make a little trip if you wanted to. It's all really dependent on your schedule and the time that you have and your priorities of, do I want to go off campus or do I want to like do something else? I know for me there was periods of time where it was like every single day I was going off campus, like going to the beach or going to the mountains or doing something, and then there are other instances where it was like 3 weeks had gone by and I hadn't left campus once. So it's really just like an individualized preference of how often you want to leave campus and what your schedule accommodates and stuff like that. Someone asked how I deal with time management. I've kind of always been good at like having my priorities in check and just like knowing that like if I have something to do, I have to complete it in that moment if it is of more priority than something else that I wanted to do. I think it's really useful at the beginning of the week or beginning of the day, whatever you want, to just write out a list of everything you have to do. Like I had a whiteboard in my room that did that, where I was like, okay, I have to return clothes this day, I have to go to registrar, I have to do this, I have to do this, and then when you're done with that assignment you just cross it off. For me, I really liked seeing like the things I accomplished and the things I had left to do. It really gave me just a perspective on what else I have to do and how accomplished I've been for that day. For me, I think it's just about going into life and school with priorities. Like if you prioritize doing really well in school, or you prioritize like growing as a person, or you prioritize being more social, or you prioritize like finding a job or having a job, then you can just kind of work your schedule around it. But for me, just keeping a list really helped me like deal with time management. I get asked questions a lot about transfer housing and if they should live on campus, off campus and stuff like that. I'm not knowledgeable about the transfer application, and I just don't really know personally of any transfer students, so I've never like crossed paths with that branch of life or anything. All I know is that like definitely look at a map of campus when you look at the housing, and you don't want to be in the ones where you have to take a shuttle bus to campus, like Boulevard 36 number, I forget what building it is, but you definitely just want to find a place to live that's more centralized on campus and near other students, because just gradually your life will be more oriented on campus and it gives you more opportunities to meet new people and get involved in life at San Diego State University. Someone asked if I had any tips for choosing classes and what helped me through classes and all that stuff. I think Rate My Professor is a really useful tool. It just tells you how hard or well liked your teacher is. So if you have a teacher that has 5 out of 5 stars, they're most likely going to be a great teacher, a great experience, even in some cases a easier class. Versus if you choose a teacher that has like a 1 out of 5 and all the reviews are horrible, like you're gonna be spending your whole life doing homework, the quizzes are impossible, the tests are insane. Sometimes you can't get into the easier teacher and it's like, oh, this sucks, and you just have to put in a little bit more work or deal with a more frustrating teacher. Something that every teacher is required to have is office hours, where you can go to your teacher for extra help. And especially in a big lecture of like 300 kids, if you feel uncomfortable asking questions, you can go to your teacher's office hours and get individualized help. A class I did that for all the time was economics. I went to class every single day and just didn't understand it. The whole idea of economics just doesn't make sense in my mind. I went to her office hours a few times to get clarification on some questions and some help. help, and they also have tutoring for some subjects. If your classes offer that to you and you're having like difficulty, definitely go to your teacher's office hours or tutoring hours if they have that. Another thing that a lot of people go to is A+. A+ is a great review thing the day before your test for a few of the major subjects that they have. Hundreds of kids go to that. It's a review session. It's like 6 hours plus long, and they cram in everything from the whole entire semester. It's really, really helpful to some people. So check that out if that is something that you're interested in. In addition, in college, like you're taking 5 or 6 classes, maybe even more, and a lot of the work can like pile up on one another. You can have weeks where it's like, okay, I have 4 exams this week, and it can just get really stressful of remembering dates and stuff. So just writing everything out, turning your notifications on Blackboard, and so you don't miss assignments, because sometimes not turning in one assignment can be super detrimental to your whole entire grade. Staying up to date on all of your assignments that you have due is probably the most helpful tip that I can give. If you have any more questions, please be sure to ask them in the comment section, or you can DM me on Instagram. I always answer all of my DMs. So I hope this was helpful, and with that, all I gotta say is go Aztecs.